So last week, one of the announcements was that the annual report was available online, and we encouraged all to read it online because it's many, many pages, and so that was an effort to limit the use of paper. There are a few available, and there are still some in the back. A couple of things that we'll do this morning will be with reference to the annual report, so I hope folks did have an opportunity to have a look at it online. One of the first things that we need to do is towards the back of the annual report, there are minutes from a couple of congregational meetings that were held throughout the year. And so we need to adopt those minutes to make them part of the formal record. So could I have a motion, please, that the minutes of the annual general meeting held Sunday, March the 1st, 2015 be adopted unless there are either as circulated or amended. If there are any corrections to those minutes, I'd certainly entertain them. In that case, could I have a motion to adopt those minutes, please? Anne McVicker and Peter Davidson for seconder. All those in favor? And any contrary? Thank you. And the second is that we had a special congregational meeting held November the 15th, which was to form the JNAC report, who we'll be hearing from soon. Could I have a motion, please, to adopt the minutes of that special congregational meeting on November the 15th, 2015? Rob Boyd, thank you. Moved by Robert Boyd and seconded by Monica Geske. All those in favor? Any contrary? Thank you very much. There are many things in the annual report. The annual report gives us a good picture of what's happened in the past year. And so we're going to pause for a moment and see presented just some of the highlights from the annual report. And Nancy and Ian McVicker have offered or been asked, we won't spend too much time on the verb, to share that with us. So thank you very much.
So, in keeping with that lovely passage from Scripture that Donna just read, I would like to share with you all a few highlights from our past year at BUC. And in keeping with the body analogy, Ian, I represent the head this morning. What part of the body do you represent?
Well, actually, honey, I've always thought of me as being the head of the family. I'm the army guy, and I've just completed my doctorate. That's kind of a heady thing, so don't you think I should be the head?
Yes, sweetie, but where would you be without your editor and another 200 pages? So let me take a line from Daniel Hart's playbook that she once shared with me. When David, for heaven's sake, I can't believe it, he was getting too uppity. Listen, honey, at work you might be the boss, but at home I'm the head. So just do what I tell you and everything will be fine. So Ian, I'm presiding this month, and I'll be the head. So pick another part.
Yes, dear. Drat. What shall it be? I've got it! I'll be the mouth. That way, you don't get to speak unless I let you. Yes! Finally!
In your dreams.
Did I hear you speak? Okay, enough levity. Being parts of the body really isn't a competition for any one part, and the Apostle Paul's whole point is that no one part of the body is any more important than any other. Every part is important and has a special role to play, contributing to the well-being of the whole body or of a whole community.
And when we look back at the life of our community over the last year, we see how critically important are such a variety of roles and contributions. For example, we have a whole lot of people who visit people weekly in the hospitals and nursing homes who are going through crisis and real challenges in their lives. And then there are visitors who bring support and comfort and prayer and simply the love of our community with prayer shawls, lovely tangible expressions of our support and care for our community, and made by a whole group of other wonderful people in the community. And then we have a whole group of people who each and every day intentionally pray for people in our community who are in need. They invoke divine, loving energy into the lives of needy folk and are another source of comfort and support. And then there are the huge group of United Church women. They provide support and love too, including follow-up get well cards, meals, cookies, flowers, and let's not forget about the United Church women who provide funeral receptions, and to the many families whose loved ones we bury each and every year. And that ministry literally touches thousands of people in our community with our love and support. And this is just a sampler of many ways in which we provide love and support to our community.
You know, Nancy, it's truly amazing how much love and care that our church family provides and receives in the course of a year. But there's a whole other dimension to our care as well, one that emerges from and is best represented by our outreach team. The team has gone through a bit of a hiatus, but has really come back strong this past year, and they're doing great work. The care provided by this team is less personal, and it's more societal. This past year, they've been doing educational events and workshops on the prevalence of child poverty in our society and how we as a church can address it. They've connected with the Canadian Food Grains Bank, which is a major Canadian organization helping to promote food security worldwide, and we're going to see more work on that front in the year ahead. They're also working on deepening BUC's involvement with the Nova Scotia Gambia Association so that we can be less about simply visiting the Gambia with our youth and more about actually supporting them in their day-to-day work. In that regard, they've set up a special liaison group between BUC and the NSGA to pursue how this might happen. They had held a wonderful fair trade fair at BUC this past year to promote awareness of fair trade issues and the need to support small-scale entrepreneurs around the world. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. On top of that, BUC supports all sorts of local organizations like the Downtown Brunswick Street Mission, working with people on the streets, Phoenix House, that works with homeless kids, Beacon House, that provides emergency food, clothing, and other essentials to people with limited incomes, Hope Cottage, that provides daily meals to the economically challenged folk. We provide casseroles every month, and it just goes on and on and on with the good work of BUC.
You know, Ian, my head just spins when I hear this.
And that's not a good thing, Nancy, because if your head starts spinning, my mouth is going to go spinny too. Given my gum grafts this last week, I don't think that would be very pretty.
Ian, TMI. Go away, you know what I mean. And then we have this huge ministry of youth and children. I don't think people have any idea how many people in our community are involved in that. All our Sunday school teachers, youth leaders, people who led TGIW, Regenesis, the Go Project, the Gambia Youth Project, Children and Youth Retreats, Youth Forum, Teen United, PD Days, Advent Family Events, Movie Night. The list of activities for children and families goes on and on.
And don't forget the entire scouting and guiding movement too, with space provided here at the church and leadership, which comes from many of our BUC members.
Exactly.
And Nancy, there are so many activities and programs that support our adults in the congregation too, such as faith development and spirituality programs, morning prayer, and going deeper each month, all our small group ministries, photography, hiking, biking, cooking, bridge, and then some. Then there's the Tuesday morning coffee hour, which brings all sorts of people together for simply some fun and some shared socializing. Remember the spaghetti dinner last month with Coco Love? She was awesome. And then in the fall, we had Murder at the Banquet. We have some absolutely amazing thespians, actors, in this community. Reverend Hart isn't the only constitutional ham in the place. I think I can see Hayseed Sheriff John! And where's femme fatale Claudette? Monica, there she is. We actually have a fair number, in fact. But all of these events have provided wonderful opportunities for people to connect within the BUC community and beyond, to learn and to grow, and all of them are led and nurtured by folk in our community as well. People making our oasis of the Spirit so much stronger every day.
Yes, and Ian, I don't think we should neglect mentioning Sunday morning, what goes on here.
Absolutely not. I'm really not quite sure what we call what goes on here on Sunday mornings. But people who come here from other churches don't know what to call it either, but when they do come, they love it. Is it worship? Is it spiritual enlightenment? Is it centering? Is it community? Or is it simply entertainment?
Ian, it's all those things and more. And wasn't the cantata this fall absolutely wonderful? Community singing, spiritual uplifting, just wonderful. And it goes on week after week after week. Something new and wonderful.
So Nancy, the great thing about all this is that it takes place because of the hundreds of people in our community who know that they are part of the body. They have a special something that they can contribute, and then they do so. It's exactly what the Apostle Paul said God intends human life to be.
Absolutely. The head plays a part.
And the mouth plays a part.
But
so do the eyes, the ears, the neck, the shoulders, the arms, the hands, the back, the legs, the feet, and the toes. Every single one of you has helped to make this community the amazing place it is in 2015. Namaste, BUC. The Spirit in us honors the Spirit in you.
Thank you, Nancy, and thank you, Ian. That was meant to give a little overview of some of the activities that have taken place at VUC over the past year. And we have a gift from our small group photography team. I would say we noticed people snapping pictures. We started these small groups a while ago, and one of them has been photo related, and we've noticed them snapping pictures around the sanctuary over the past year. It's a custom that was started a few years back, and so I think Paul has that queued up for us. It was Charles Plant who was our in-house photographer for several years, who started this practice. Such beautiful faces and lovely memories. It's hard to fathom how much activity there is that goes on in this place. So our thanks to the BUC Photography Ministry for sharing with us. As has been our custom, Paul Reed has come forward to read the names of those who have died within our community in the past year. Paul?
Could we ask everybody to please stand? We take a moment now to remember those who are no longer with us. Carol Parnell Dykeman, Eric Edwin Giles, Ruby Myrtle Densmore, Ross Webster Christie, Patricia Squires, Charles Harris Llewellyn, James Eldridge Densmore, Heather Ann McPherson, Richard Douglas Haley, Anne Beverly Flood, Martin Luther Keyes Jr., Dr. Christopher Thomas Michael, Clifford Edward Crossman, Grace Charlotte Locke, James Thomas Archibald, Greta S. McPhee, Myrtle Patricia Garbot, Una Mage Card, and Alexis Catherine Fletcher. Into God's keeping, we commit our sisters and brothers here departed. Thank you for sharing your lives with us. Amen.
Thank you, Paul. Please be seated. So with that bit of an introduction and an overview of the annual report, we would like to move adoption of the annual report, except the nominating team report and the stewardship report, which we'll come to in a little more detail in a moment. So, with one correction, on page 31, for anyone that has the book with you, the heading that says Prayer Shawl Ministries, in fact, should be Small Group Ministries. Just a little correction there. So, with that correction, could I have a motion, please, that the annual report be approved as printed, except for the nominating team report and the stewardship team report? I have some Terry Choice and Eloise Lemire. Thank you. You can't remember names at the split second. It's always been a trial. All those in favor? Any contrary? Thank you. So now we are in for a treat, I believe, from Spirit Rising.
Spirit Rising. We're about half Spirit Rising and half Spirit Rising groupies that Rick pulls in at the last minute when he's away. Our anthem this morning was written by the fabulous Sherry Ogden. She's so ridiculously talented. It's pretty insane. So this is one of my favorite songs that she's written, called In This Place, and I'll just let the words speak for themselves because they're just so darn beautiful.
Some days are easy, some days are hard. We never know what's down the road. Life takes us up and life pulls us down. And sometimes we carry all the load. At the end of each week, when we feel the ache and need, we should come together in the calm serenity.
3 steps back.
We're running on empty and losing our way.
We carry more burdens and just never learn.
How did we get here and why do we stay? If we come together to center and belong, to gather in community, to sing a joyful song, there is peace in the air, there is joy everywhere, there is love, there is hope, there is faith. Holiness in this space, it shines through every face. There is love in this place. Sacred dreams, an escape, room for more in this place. There is peace in the air, there is joy, there is love, there is hope, there is faith. Holiness in this space, it shines through every face. There is love in this place. There is peace in the air, there is joy everywhere. There is love, there is hope, there is faith. Holiness in this space, it shines through every face. There is love in this place.
Just beautiful. Thank you so much, and such a wonderful description of what we try to be. So now we're moving in our meeting from looking back at what has happened to looking forward to what may become. And Daryl is making his way forward. As you know, there are some staffing changes in the offing, and Daryl is going to give us a bit of an update on that. Thank you, Daryl.
Good morning. As you know, this last year, Rick Gunn felt a calling to go back to school, to AST, and be ordained as a minister, and he starts that in September. He's probably in the air someplace between London and the Gambia today, so we wish him well with that journey. Also, Jen Power has decided that her term at the end of June, she'll finish up here on a paid ministerial basis to spend more time with her beautiful boys. So it left us with 2 half-time positions that needed to be filled. And through consultation, discussions, that our plan is to take a full-time called ministry position, which will be children, family, and youth. And we did a survey a few weeks ago. The results confirm what we thought was the direction that we should be taking. We're adding a pastoral care component to the job description for this new position, because we understand completely how important pastoral care is for children, family, and youth, as well as senior members of the congregation. So a JNAC, a Joint Needs Assessment Committee, was formed. Somebody showed me the minutes of another meeting that was a JNAC, was J-A-N-E-A-C-T, but it is a JNAC. And so we had a number of meetings. We're pretty well at the end of our writing and description of what we think is the recommendation that we should go forward with. Today I'm announcing that on March 20th, there will be a congregational meeting to hold a vote to confirm our plans to proceed with looking for a full-time minister. We have 2 representatives from Presbytery, which is our governing body, on our committee, and 9 members of your congregation. And part of the process, we reached out to the community again through consultation. So this is our plan. We think it's a great opportunity to move forward and have a full-time minister dedicated to where our foundation for our future is. So with that, March the 20th, we'll make an announcement next week as well. So thank you.
Thank you, Darrell. One of the things that the light's on. There we are. One of the things that Council is charged with is visioning. That is the looking forward and hopefully charting a course for BUC in the years ahead. And so we wanted to give you a little flavor for the discussions that we've been having and think we may have as we move forward into next year. So Monica Geske and Nick Fieldsend. Monica has been a member at large, and Nick has been a member of our communications team and has offered to chair that team going forward. Monica and Nick have some words to describe our visioning work.
Good morning. As we start on this process of imagining what our future community is going to be like, I've been reminded about the journey that David's taken us on over the last few weeks, and the sense that we can all have a really positive influence on that future if we're intentional, if we have some clear direction, and as we work collectively to achieve that future. I think we can all agree that there's a number of different challenges that we face, both locally and in the wider world. I think, picking up on what Darrell was saying, we have changes to our staff mix. We have some of the challenges that this building has faced over the last little while, and some of the things that we need to address. And then if we think further into our community and our society, we have the potential of a new future or an emerging future in Canada under new leadership. I think about what's coming south of the border over the next year and what challenges that might throw for us. And then out into the wider world, we're all very familiar with the situation in Syria and how we are responding as a community to that. But there are so many other issues in the world that we as a community can have a solid voice and role in helping to respond to. So in thinking about what that role and what that voice is, we want to embark on a visioning process. And I think it's very appropriate at this time of the year when we anticipate the coming of Easter that we think about this as a sense of rejuvenation, of looking inside, looking at what's great and strong about our community and how we want to build on that going forwards. And in starting to think about where we need to put that focus, we've tried to see where those themes are, and it's really come down to 2 broad areas, one around our environment and one around engagement.
So speaking to the environment, that is the space that we occupy. And I think it's important when we look at everything around us is to remember this idea. It's a proverb that says, "A society grows great when its elders plant trees whose shade they shall never set in." This church exists and all around us from people before us. And it's an amazing legacy that all of them have given to us. And this is an opportunity to look at this space, what we do with it now, but also what we want it to be in that future. So part of our environmental piece is to look at our space. Some things have been brought to our attention quicker than we thought, like the roof. But there are things that we want to be proactive to, things that we want to have a vision for. Spaces such as our kitchen that has now really become an integral part of the ministry here through our funeral ministry. It is a space that is used quite a lot and is showing its wear. Even the sanctuary where we sit in now. This is a stunning space. The lighting in here really speaks to all of us and really brings the presence of the Spirit to us. But we'd like to take a look at how we can use this space better. Maybe it's taking pews away and putting in chairs, bringing us closer together. Maybe it's changing the orientation. There's a lot of things we'd like to look at in this space to really bring that sense of community and to bring that sense of spirit and closeness to all of us. So we are looking at things like that. The parking lots have always been a challenge for us. Are there better ways to use that space? And even the signage at the street. It betrays this as an older traditional church, but anyone who's been here can tell you That is not what we're about. So maybe making this space live and breathe who we are and and what we believe in, and that is what we will put forward as our legacy into the future.
So that's a nice segue from the environment to engagement. And I think engagement really comes down to two broad areas. It's the engagement that we want to have together. How do we want to connect with each other as a community? The worship schedule, when do we feel we want to come together and celebrate that time as a group during the week? The programs that we want to offer throughout the church at all different age levels and interest groups. The ministry teams, how do we build on all the great work that we've all done? I was just looking through the list of all the ministry teams that we've got, and you see as you come into BUC every week, the board always grows with new names, new ideas, new ways to connect. So how do we want to continue to build on that? And then just the general congregational life, how do we continue to bring that sense of vibrancy and purpose and enjoyment that certainly I and my family have experienced in the few years we've been here? How do we continue to nurture that and make this really attractive for others that might want to join this church? And then with the outside world, how do we want to connect with our broader community? And that means so many different things, the local community in Bedford, within Greater Halifax, within the province, within the country, within the world. So how do we put that outreach out there? How do we engage with that conversation? How do we put a brand around what we all know and love within BUC and make that something that's visible and tangible to the outside world? And thinking about how we want to continue that communication. We don't want to just keep all this fantastic experience to ourselves. We want to be able to share that with more people and engage more people in this conversation. So how do we go about doing some of those things? So we talked a little while, maybe a couple of years ago, about this sense of being better together. I think that's well worth revisiting and seeing how we really can build on that theme. And to look at that next stage of the story, that next chapter in BUC's journey, and how do we go about being intentional, setting out a vision that we can all subscribe to and feel pleased about. And Monica's going to tell us about that first step in the process.
So the council has had some initial conversations, and as you can imagine, this is a rather large and wieldy piece to get our minds around. At the moment, we're trying to put a little structure and some walls around at least what we can feel that we can speak to. We're going to be having a meeting coming up in the next month where we'll start to really put, again, more definition to the themes that we want to look into. There's a lot of input that we need to do anything like this. It needs to be the work and the passion and the lives of the members of this church. It is not going to be taken over by a couple people who have an idea and are going to run with it. It is going to be born out of all of us. So we'll be looking to doing meetings in the future where we invite the congregation. We'll look to doing surveys where, for those of you who it's difficult to make a meeting, we still want to give you the opportunity to give your input. But this is going to be an open process. This is a vision of all of ours. And so we want you to add your voice to that. So please look forward to those opportunities in the future. If there's anything that you think of now that you would like to at least drop into the hat, see any of our council members and please share everything that you have with us. If you're a ministry team that would like to make sure that your part of that is been brought into the conversation, members at large, our responsibility is to be somebody who comes and reaches out to you and brings your message to the council. Please invite any of us to any of your gatherings. We would appreciate that opportunity. And we really look forward to what the future is for this church. And it's exciting to imagine the people that will be here in 50 years and 100 years, what they will enjoy like we do now for that future. Thank you.